Last week on Thursday, Alec Baldwin, a very anti gun advocate, killed somebody with a gun. Today, I am going to go through the whole story and sort of break down exactly what happened so that people have a better understanding of, gun safety, how this should have always been prevented. Never should have happened. And we might joke a little bit about Alec as well. If you don't know who I am, or if you've never been to my channel, here I just take the most pressing things to me that I want to talk about, and I just make a video and talk about it. So if you like what I'm doing, give me a like. If you don't like what I'm doing, give me a dislike. Comment down below. Tell me I'm an idiot. Tell me what I need to do better. And let's get right into this. I usually read straight from a news source, but there's been so many convoluted different news outlets that are doing everything. So I am gonna put together an itinerary that I'm just gonna read off. So, and then we'll go over the tweets and stuff like that. I'll show you that. But on October 21st, Alec Baldwin fired a gun while rehearsing for a scene for the movie Rust. This was on Bonanza Creek Ranch near Santa Fe, New Mexico. And he ended up killing Helena Hutchins and injuring the director, Joel Souza. So the way this happened, like the circumstances of it, where Alec was standing in a church at a pew, and they were having problems with shadows messing up the scene, so they had to move the cameras, and Alec was practicing his part, drawing the gun from a pew or from somewhere in the church and aiming it at the camera. And because of the shadows, they had to move, and he was showing Alec was showing how he would draw so they could move the cameras accordingly. And that is when the accidental discharge happened. So I've heard. This is all allegedly. Obviously I wasn't there, so I can't confirm or deny anything of what happened. But let's just get the basics out of the way. The three people who are at most fault are Alec Baldwin, David Halls, who is the assistant director, and Hannah Gutierrez Reed, which she is the armorer. Let's set another thing straight. Prop guns are not fake guns. Prop means property of production. So it could be anything. It could be real gun that fires, but it's a prop gun because it's owned by a production. Okay. Clearly, if Alec knew gun safety well, this wouldn't have happened. And everybody who owns a gun should know at least the first four rules of gun safety, which is always aim down range. Never aim at a person, or unless you intend to destroy them. Always keep the gun aimed down range, or away from people. All guns are loaded. Okay, treat every weapon, every firearm as a loaded firearm, no matter what. Which again applies to rule 1: don't aim it at people. Be sure of your target, which is rule number 3, and anything beyond your target as well. So if you're shooting at a paper target and you don't have any sort of backstop behind it, you need to be aware of where that bullet's going. And fourth one, finger off the trigger until you are ready to fire. So there's no reason that Alec should have even pulled this trigger on this firearm while he was breaking rule 1, rule 2, rule 3, and rule 4. Okay, so that is my opinion on that. So it is, in my opinion, it is Alec's fault. But I think the blame is more than that. People should have accounted for his stupidity beforehand, right? The actual bullet was recovered from Souza's arm, the director Joel Souza, after it had passed through Helena Hutchins and killed her. Prior to the shooting, that same day, 6 workers were unhappy with the conditions with long hours, low pay, and they literally just walked off the set. And then they were like quickly replaced with non-union members, just to get back to shooting. Okay. The same day, I think it was the same day, the gun had already been, I don't say misfire because it's not a misfire as the news articles are all saying. It was an accidental or negligent discharge. It was not a misfire. It wouldn't shoot. Like if your gun misfires, it just, and it had apparently already been accidentally fired 2 other times. And if that was happening, I would be off that set the first time, if it was an accidental, and there were any live or blank rounds in there. But so apparently David Halls, as I said, he was or did I mention him yet? The assistant director. Yes, I did. He had apparently handed him Alec the gun and yelled that it was a cold gun, meaning it was completely unloaded and there was nothing that would happen with it if you pulled the trigger. And he handed Alec the gun, right? And another rule that you should always follow when you're handling a firearm is whenever there's an exchange of guns and like if someone hands you a gun and tells you that it's unloaded, you need to check. And that means, if in this case it's a revolver, it means opening up the cylinder, looking into each slot that a bullet can go into and checking to make sure the barrel's clear. Okay. Why did he do that? Why did so it's like you can't really, you can blame everyone. It's everyone's fault, but mostly Alec. He was the last person and obviously the person who shot. Afterwards, he had apparently been reported saying, "Why was I handed a hot gun?" Or, "In all my years, I've never been handed a hot gun." And, it doesn't really matter. That's the point. Like if you're handed a gun, you need to make sure there's no bullets in it before you point it at someone to pull the trigger. Like, it's just common sense. So, I don't know. The armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, she's only 24 years old, and she was reportedly, again, apparently nervous being a first-time armorer for this shoot. No pun intended. And I can understand being a young employee and being very nervous of being yelled at or like being told like hurry up or let's go, like we got a show to run. So she's definitely responsible, but I want to blame Alec more than her. There were reports that to the LA Times there was a person that had knowledge of the situation. I hate those qualifiers, but they had said, quote, "There was a serious lack of safety meetings on this set," and end quote. And apparently, yes, the gun itself was apparently, again, used by crew members hours before the accident for plinking, so like shooting cans in the New Mexico desert. Why? I have no idea. Like, what is crazy to me? Why are there even live like rounds on a set for a movie? There should be zero bullets. No bullets should be on set at all, unless like they're trying to literally film someone shooting a house or a target or something like that and getting physical effects from the bullets, which, I don't even know if Hollywood would want that. They'd probably want explosions instead of holes, because it's not really that crazy when you shoot something. The Santa Fe Sheriff's Department, I believe it was, recovered. They went and secured the scene, and they recovered 3 guns, 1 reel one plastic, and one they hadn't determined, as well as 500 rounds, or up to, I would say, 500 rounds, which were a mix of blanks, dummies, and live rounds. Why are there any live rounds on set? I have no idea. But, I don't know. Then there's after the armorer, the next person who had the gun was Dave Halls, which he had already had previous like safety complaints from working on Into the Dark on Hulu. I haven't seen that, but here's a quote. Maggie Gohl, a prop maker and licensed pyrotechnician, said in a statement that she filed an internal complaint with the executive producers of Hulu's Into the Dark series in 2019 over concerns about assistant director Dave Hall's behavior on set. Gohl said in a phone interview Sunday that Halls disregarded safety protocols for weapons and pyrotechnics and had tried to continue filming after a supervising pyrotechnician lost consciousness on set. Okay, so this guy has a blatant disregard for human safety. I wouldn't have even hired him to begin with, but you know, this whole thing screams like they were cutting corners trying to save money with everything. You know, hiring a 24-year-old armorer, which that is crazy to me. And this armorer had reportedly made Nicolas Cage walk off the set of another film for not warning before discharging rounds twice. So he like walked off. I don't know. Nick Cage is kind of a drama queen, but I don't know. Dave Halls allegedly told investigators that he typically would check the barrel for obstructions, and then the armorer Hannah Reed Gutierrez opens the hatch and spins a drum before he yells out "cold drum." And he said he could only remember seeing 3 rounds of dummy bullets in the chamber, which means he only checked 3, and there should have been 0. If Alec was just practicing, why were there any live or dummy, or why were there any rounds in the gun? There should have been nothing in the gun. Why wasn't he using the plastic gun if he was just practicing? You see what I'm saying? And then obviously Alec, being Alec, he is a very anti-2A character advocate. He seems to be blaming Dave Hall directly by retweeting certain news stories. Like he retweeted the New York Times headline, quote, before he handed a revolver that he declared cold to Alec Baldwin on the set of the film Rust, Dave Halls, an assistant director, told the detective that he should have inspected each round in each chamber, according to an affidavit, but he did not. And then he retweeted a Variety article with the headline, Alec Baldwin was told prop gun was safe before fatal shooting, affidavit says. Alec Baldwin was the co-producer, so regardless of who gave him the gun, like he is ultimately responsible for everyone on set. Whatever way he tries to point the finger, it's going to end up back on him anyways. So then there was another alleged quote. I really find this one kind of hard to believe. That said that before the shooting, Alec Baldwin had said, "Another take? How about I just effing shoot the both of you?" But you know, I think that's just like right-wing propaganda. And then there's some stuff I gotta show you this. I'm going to show you some of Alec Baldwin's old tweets, which are kind of sketchy. I wonder how it must feel to wrongfully kill someone, he said in 2017. That is like cryptic. You know what I'm saying? Like, what in the hell? Now he knows. Morbid as that is. And then here's another tweet to the spokesperson of the NRA. I see that, I don't even know how to pronounce her name. I see that Dana wants to take back the truth, and she doesn't care how many dead bodies she has to step over in that pursuit. The Second Amendment is not a moral credit card that buys you all the guns you want. That law needs to be rethought. It's not a law. It is an amendment to the U.S. Constitution that shall not be infringed. Okay? So, I don't know what you're talking about there, buddy. You definitely don't need him controlling absolutely any part of any sort of law that has anything to do with guns. Because if he had known the first rule of gun safety, none of this would have happened. And in my opinion, he should be charged with some sort of either negligent homicide, manslaughter, or I don't know. So he has to be charged. This is just ridiculous. All right, there's one more thing I got to show you, and it's just kind of funny to me. This person named, it's a blue check mark, Johannes Velterop, maybe? I don't know how to pronounce that. They made this tweet that they said, might the prop gun have been secretly loaded with real bullets by a Trump supporter to punish Alec Baldwin and his Trump parodies? Should be a line of inquiry. Why is it that only MAGA types that vehemently dismiss this as one of the possible causes? Too close to the bone? By the way, I do hope it was just an accident, but it is America after all. And this guy's like, you joking, right? Sadly, no. I see it as a real possibility. It's America after all. What a freaking crazy person. Like, yeah, dude, somebody was so mad that Alec, you know what? Maybe. You know, he did a terrible job on SNL of like acting as Trump, so I might shoot him. No, I'm just kidding. They would have been hoping for like him shooting himself or something, but not this poor director of photography, Helena. But this just shows like how crazy people are. And Alec Baldwin would probably be the type of person to propagate these kind of conspiracies. And I don't know. But that's all I got for you. Let me know what you think. If I broke this down well. I kind of just threw this together because it's been so long since I made a video. And I don't know. Felt like I owed you something. But let me know how I do. And comment down below. Like, share, subscribe. Or don't. I don't really care that much. I just do this for me. Have a good one.